This really pisses me off. I mean, this really seriously pisses me off. I had an interview with a United States Navy SEAL, former SEAL, and he thinks it's all right to storm the Capitol steps that he swore an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. That included Washington, D.C., but besides the buildings, it's also the people, the principles of this country at this point over here. If he sure as hell didn't like it, why the hell he had to support the damn Constitution in the first place? Why didn't he stay out of the damn Navy? He should have realized, he should have thought, but no, he didn't. Our brother died a long time ago, defending his country, taking care of our family left and right. He screwed up in the Navy and regretted it for over his lifetime. And the Navy never was able to get his discharge upgraded from the big chicken dinner, and they called it now, other than honorable. But a lot of people he helped, a lot of people he served, a lot of people that he made a difference with. Unfortunately, they're no longer alive to make testimony. And they would have been here to make a video again. They would have been here to make a video against people like this. What the hell goes on with a damn idiot like that in the first place? They got a problem with the damn government? They know how to take it up, but take up arms? What are we doing, Civil War all over again? You don't like the government, so now you're going to be overriding a damn thing into your version of the government? We're going to be doing mob rule at this point over here, and that gives you the absolute right for it? I never understood it. I never understood it. Yeah, I'm coming from a civilian perspective at this point over here. I never served my country because I never had the chance to serve my country in the military, but I did serve my country. I had served veterans. In high school, I served veterans. I volunteered at a VA hospital. World War I and World War II veterans. We never were allowed to deal with the Vietnam veterans, or let alone the Korean veterans. But I saw how my brother was. He got out of the military, and how screwed up he was, and how pissed off he was. Because there were certain actions back then, in the late 70s, early 80s, what they did to him. But he never betrayed his oath to his country or to the Constitution. And he was still a Navy man. Sometimes he said he was glad to serve. And other times he wished to God he hadn't gone through the initiations he did, which took decades later to outlaw. And it was hard for him to say that in recovery meetings left and right. So yeah, get pissed off about that. But he never did take down his Budweiser when they told him to. He never gave it back. He said, screw you. I earned it. It's mine. You can't take away my honor. You can't take away my self-respect. And he demonstrated it. I know there's SEAL hunters out there that he talked to. And one of them, Shipley, I think. He had spoken with my brother. And he had verified my brother had his name still on the roster, but crossed off. But he still was on the roster. He still retained that bit of honor and respect. His name was David Worth Shaw. I loved my brother. The last several years of his life, I heard a hell of a lot more stories than I usually did. And why Boy, you really earned the big chicken dinner. Not because he murdered or killed anybody. He went AWOL too many damn times. Because he couldn't deal with the people trying to do things to him in the Navy that no tradition should never have been done in the first place. Hosings? Greased fittings? The chief petty officers thought they were fun gags to do on the seamen recruits and people coming on board new ships. My brother was raped. Tried to tell people. They laughed at him. He still did his job. He was a boiler technician. Served on the USS McCain before she got DQ'd, and then there was a Coral Shit. He had most of the issues with. He was also a boiler technician for them as well. His secondary, his primary was SEAL, Special Weapons Officer. Two things I remembered he told me. It was Old Misery and his swim partner, Roger Perry. God rest his soul. He did his trading over at Coronado and over at San Diego Recruit Training Center. Well before they shut it down because of base closure. When I hear military personnel going against the Constitution, and especially those who have sworn an oath, yeah, there's a lot of ugly things the country has done, and the politicians have done. But storming the castle, storming the Capitol, that's going to solve things. Holding congressional leaders hostage, that's going to solve things. Threatening to use weapons, that's really a SEAL? If he wanted to shake them in their damn boots, then he really must have been off his damn rocker. Don't tell me I don't know anything about honor, or about courage or sacrifice. You haven't walked in my shoes. You haven't walked in my shoes. And I walked through some of my brother's shoes. Don't tell me I don't know. And that pisses me off. My brother had done a hell of a lot of good since he left the Navy. Or should I say the Navy threw his ass out. It had gotten to the point when he was in there. He took a year off. Unauthorized absence. Missing ship's movement. And he was helping out my mother dealing with my grandmother, who was bedridden with a stroke, and my mother had medical issues. She had a bad back and dealing with a teenager who barely was able to deal with a grandmother. He had to work for about a year at different jobs. And he was told by an uncle who worked for the state of California that the next time the uncle saw my brother and he was still AWOL, my brother was going to be put away. My brother went back to the Navy. He did time. He did time over at Diego Garcia. He was transferred to different ships. But he did his time. He wanted to get out the quickest way to help Ma out. So he took the bad conduct. They originally wanted to give him the dishonorable, but the lawyer noted my brother's exemplary service besides missing ship's movement and the year, and hearing testimony from everybody else that enabled my brother to at least retain U.S. citizenship. They were going to dishonor him every which way but loose. But my brother never wavered on his loyalty to the country, to the flag, to the oath, to everything. And he didn't waive his loyalty with the family either. Call me blinded by loyalty and blinded by love, I don't care. I don't care. I watched his back. He watched mine. And none of you guys were there. And none of you guys understood. And you never will. When I hear former military, including a former SEAL, a so-called SEAL, who threatens his own government, you just stripped away everything else that made you that SEAL. Everything. And I don't have any respect for you or for anybody else like